Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the year of significant difference. 2024 must be different from other years. Intuitively, I was inspired intellectually by divine intelligence, superposing the mind of the divinity within my mind as my curiosity deepens to find what the year holds for us. Not only on the dreams, not only on the inspirations, but as I heightened my aspiration, I knew there was something that could be deeper and stronger than ever. And I was inspired on this year of significant difference. You will agree with me that you cannot increase or grow as the same person with the same unimproved. I'm talking about unimproved personalities. I mean, a lot of us don't even understand what personalities are. I can deal with that in subsequent things, but you cannot access a new level with the same structure, the same personality, the same perspective, the same belief system. So the truth is, it's either you're in a pond of life or you're in the river of life. And these two things remarkably will determine how significant you will make this year count for you. I've been in sectors where people consistently said, Happy New Year, for instance. And we have said it without questioning what it is. So we bring in our old self into a new year without an intellectual discourse to reinvent the old patterns. And like this year, we have reinvented it, Happy New Life in a new year, signifying that you are the maker of the 2024, not the old self that will say what the year will offer. It is what we offer the year or to the year that will be the reflection that the year will come back to us. Now, you are in a pond. It indicates that you are in a fixed mode with anchoring biases. If you bring the biases of 2023 into 24, you will be blocked. If you will say you're in a pond when you have fixed mode with anchoring prejudices. A lot of us have already come to 2024 with a prejudice. What difference would it be? Because they are facing about leadership, they're looking about the economy, they're looking about spirituality, they're looking about all kinds of things, and the thing is the same thing. No. That is why they are either in a shallow or what we call the mask identity. If you have an established ideas, people have literally established ideas, and these ideas they have hold on to it since their childbirth, or maybe because it was occasioned by experience, and because the occasioned by experience, it has become an established ideas and what we call the fasting that created a fasting belief system that recreate and retain the same thing in a static thinking pattern. I don't want to be part of that pond. I am flowing, or we need to flow from the river. What does it indicate? Mental fluidity. Your mental fluidity gives you an open, you'll be able to access from a different dimension what we call floating mind in face values. It talks about openness, it talks about adaptivity, it talks about mounting faith drive. You cannot possibly experience a new level of increase or advancement or make significant progress with the same attributes that currently fuel and result you are manifesting. For a mountain height of satisfaction and fulfillment to be attained, your new self has to emerge in relearning, rethinking, refinement, refocusing, rebelieving, and redesigning your patterns of behaviors and expression. So for fresh and noble and lofty, powerful ideas to emerge, to create a new experience, you have to raise to a new level. And a good book that we all know says something very significant. It says, since you have been raised to a new life, did you hear it? A new life. A new life with Christ. Set your sight on the realities of heaven, where Christ sits in a place of honor at God's side, right hand side. Put on. Did you hear that? Put on. It's like put on your new clothes, a new nature. Old nature will result to the same manifestation of result or outcome. So that you are renewed as you learn to know your Creator and become like Him. No within reform, there will be no without reform. What does that mean? Like we said, we have political reforms, we have institutional reforms, we have administrative reforms, we have policy reform. What is your own reform? If you don't carefully reconstitute a policy, a personal policy drive, whether it's in your personal power, whether it's a personal law, whether it's a personal essence, you have to have a reform this year. You have to sit down with yourself and have a reform to bring in pure, positive energy. I have determined what my positive energy will be. Is a positive energy of largeness, of bigness, of noble attitude, of a greater height. So I'm going to be breaking 10 points what you should look at after this year. Number one, you got to find your real self. Are you masking, pretending to be? Your real self is critical. That is your true nature. Without your true nature emerging, that will be the undoing of yourself. Your true nature will undoubtedly reshape your life and the outcome of your life this year. Your essential identity is critical to your progression and growth that will make a significant difference. Let me explain it. Breaking it down, there's a 3U dimension. There is a mask you. That mask you include what your parents has clothed you with, what friends, the opinion of people, what situations have cloned you, what experiences have dictated you to be, and you have adopted them as an identity. That is number one stage. The second stage is what we call the self-revelation, where you sit down with yourself and reshape who you are. You will know because there's a witness within you that will reshape you, that will cultivate you to do deep reflection of who you are. And that's what we call the revealed self. Until you get the revealed self, you have not come into self-actualization. I'm sure you know what to talk about self-actualization. And the third point will now be your essential self. Your essential self will be what will drive essentially the difference. It makes a remarkable difference in my life. The moment I was able to interlock and underscore my true essential identity, my life started flowing. And I got new experiences, new outcome in my relationship, in everything I do, in my parenting. Let me give an instance. Number one, I am Mr. Patrick Ujuma. That's my calling name. I am a mentor and a growth coach. That is my professional identity. This has come based on a revealed self. But beyond this true identity, I am a builder. It means if you give me a dead place, my intrinsic self, my essential self, will automatically define the dead place and put me on an assignment. I will not be defined by the situation. I will define the situation. And that's why my environment will not condition me. I will influence my environment based on my essential nature. I'm an enlightener. Enlightener means that when I meet a seemingly situation that represents darkness, I will not be overwhelmed or overturned or be influenced or be disturbed by that situation. I will go in within me, pick up my identity and reflect it on that darkness because I'm an enlightener. When my economy is not putting together as according to my aspiration, it may represent a dark moment, but my enlightenment will come from the recesses of my nature, and I will flow from my nature, and significantly, inherently, I will make a difference in that situation because why? I'm an enlightener. Number three, I'm an enricher. Loss for me is expression of myself. So if I encounter loss, I don't pray to encounter, but loss is part of life. whichever that loss may be, maybe disappointment from men, maybe disappointment from an outcome or a pursuit or some level of business or some level of relationship, they will come because I can't control the outcome. But what will happen is that how I would define and relate and define and judge that will not be the context or the content of the external reality. My acceptance of it will fuel me to become an enricher, so that I'm reaching that loss. And so that's why it's critical that if you're going to make some significant difference, you need to understand your true nature. The same nature of yesteryears cannot produce a distinctive difference, because we need to have such a superlative, remarkable different this year, and it will come from operating and streaming and flowing not from the pond of your yesterday identification, but from the stream and the waters of your new self. Number 2, you will need to locate your head voice. We have come to realize that there are many voices in the earth, and none of them are without significance. Some of us are carrying the voice of depression, of discouragement, of fear, of insecurity, voice of this country is bad, oh, my family treated me bad, my friends, I do good and my friend reward me with bad, oh, I don't even have the courage and the stamina to continue to push from life. Why? Because you have not located your language that is in alignment to your true essence. I am being careful how I'm constructing this. So number 1, there's a voice that must align to your true essence. So each time I encounter a detour or some living that nothing that's aligning to my aspiration, what happened? If I set a voice that not an alignment to my nature, I lose my nature. That means that the external reality have given me a voice, but my voice must always drown down to the external voice. When you locate your new voice, head voice, a new language that aligns to your true nature, it will alter and configure the outcome and push you into a new reality. Number 3, the unstoppable you. Ladies and gentlemen, there's an unstoppable you. It is your blueprint that streams from your true essence, and it will rise and give you a different personality. What is unstoppable you? Unstoppable you, I recall when I suffered such a devastating outcome, and they told me about it, and I said I'm unstoppable because I'm not a pond, I'm flowing from a river, and in river there are obstacles, but the truth is that momentums are built from obstacles. And if you understand that momentum are built from obstacles, you are unstoppable. That's the wisdom of the water. That's why you see you are a pond when you think that you are gone. Maybe you had an accident and they took your car, it's gone, and you feel this is the end of your life. You see, that language does not represent your true nature, because now that language has been sponsored by scarcity. It has been sponsored by fear that you're never going to get a new car. You see, now when you tune your voice into the language, it gives you an unstoppable you. You got to understand that you are your unstoppable self. Number 4, your unstoppable you will help you locate the number 4 point, which is a remote character, the character armor. You know, the reason why you see reformed is to review, so that we'll be sure that we have the character capacity. People talk about culture without talking about character. The foundation of culture is a function of the aggregate character disposition that unifies that place. So as a person, your habit is a function of either a defeat character or a progressive character. And a lot of us have been on that defeat character for too long. And it shows. When your character shows, it shows where you are. And so that's why we need to remove our character. The mental capacity is shaped by the attitude of the mind that signals the doingness. A newly acquired set of character will be required to make a significant difference. 5, find your what they call the pen price. If you're going to go high, find your pen price. Don't find the lofty ideas, find the pen to the pen price, to pay the price and go to the lofty ideas. Point 6, there's what we call the mountain view mind. Think about it when you are downstairs and there were issues. you're likely going to relate that situation from the baseline or from the basement. If you move outside that baseline and move higher, your view will change. And once your view change, it affects your perspective of that situation. And that situation will affect what you believe about it. And that belief will recondition your emotion, engagement, and significant values that you've attached when you were in the basement. And in that basement, it will affect how you act or your expression. So we're saying point 6 is unlocking the mountain ideas. This shifts you from the usualness. I'm borrowing the word usualness, or when we talk about the usual thing, this language of the usual thing, the usual nation, the usual family must stop. You need to upset that usualness and create a new devoted ideas, because the old ideas will lack the merit and the character strength or structure to be able to redirect you with such a momentum into where you intend to be. I've experimented the mountain view. I recall when I was trapped in an uncomfortable situation where I was locked in and imprisoned. My movement was completely hindered and blocked. While I was there, I shifted my focus from that basement. I refused to entertain that thought pattern, because that will equal me with the same situation. What I did was I elevated my mind, elevated my view, elevated my perspective. And while I was still there, I was in another mountain view. And that's exactly what I'm experiencing today, because the build up of my new reality started from my shift to unlock my mountain view. What is mountain view? It's actually essential in the hierarchy of the divine attribute. There are 7 attributes of the divine. Number 1 is order. Order is how things flow. Number 2 is will. The will to interlock and emerge and align to the order. The third one is wisdom. Wisdom is the ability to interpret order, observe order, and so that you trust the order and be obedient to the order. Now you see the category: order, will, wisdom, and the truth. Then you talk about the essential of it will be patience, mercy, and love. But where am I bringing will? Your life is a function of your attention. The quality of your life is influenced by the quality of your attention. If you don't have a mountain view perspective, you have a basement perspective. And your current situation, what you call suffering, is a function of a base thinking, not a mountain thinking. If you're going to have such a significant year that makes difference, you need to leave the basement and be thrown into a higher realm. That's why I say, if you then reason, set your affection to the heavenly realities. Number 7, if you followed me for a while, this is the bedrock of my advancement. It's called value, principle, priority. Value, principle, priority. Now, non-essential living will be heavy and put you in a perpetual state of pond. But you see, when you become essential thinker, what it does is that it gives you a priority that is essential. This essential is a function of your value system. My value system was the turning point, establishing my value system. Now, I stream for my value system, which is 8-fold. Number 1 is, of course, some of you know, goodness. It means that I see and act and define goodness, and I dwell in goodness. Now, value will shape your character. Now, principle is having consequence in mind. In my nation, I don't think we'll think about consequence. Unfortunately, there's a law of sowing and reaping, or cause and effect, or whatever law, the way it's talked about anywhere, show that you are the architect and designer of your intent. So your value will help you determine the principle, that is the outcome or the consequence. Now, prioritizing means that when I come into life, what will shape my decision will be the priority that I accord to event of life. So today, you're going to reshape your value system and establish principles upon which your life will run. It has to be established and prioritized. Number 8, I love this one, pooling. What is pooling? Connection. What is connection? Unification. Your relationship this year will determine the significance you're going to experience. Same people that you have stayed with, same connection will still give you the same connection and effect. If you don't shift relationship, you need to review your relationship. What does relationship going to do for you? Relationship will give you understanding, deeper understanding, and the richness of our interconnectedness will determine by the kind of relationship you have of, number 1, to your source, to yourself, and to the world. To reinvent yourself, you need to reinvent your values and enthrone your principles and be able to prioritize the life. What is the next one? Spark the zest. Spark the zest. Your lack of advancement significantly is a function of the zest. What is zest? Thankfulness, gratitude. If you enthrone gratitude as a mechanism, in fact, one of the things that I feel that have changed my skin structure and texture of my skin and my immunity, increasing my well-being and wealth and relationship with people, is the ability to appreciate them. I recognize I'm a person of honor, and as a person of honor, I carry certain vitamins. I carry certain ingredients that help me, number 1, appreciate people. So the more I appreciate, that means I have set my mind an upward drive, not downward drive. I'm not going to be in a sorry state this year. I'm not going to be all those whining and glooming and all that. No, gratitude will form part of the core essential that will make a significant difference. I hit the rock, gratitude. That's what they call spark the zest. It's gratefulness, it's gratitude, and it's celebration. And finally, and this is the new concept, and this new concept is what they call the divine boundless dimension of love. Did you hear that? The divine boundless dimension of love. Now, love now is, number 1, awareness that you're not alone. Whatever that is going to happen to you, you're not alone. That is awareness, and that means responsibility to bring you such a powerful freedom to make a choice. In fact, you have a choice, even a choiceless situation. You can make a choice. That's why your identity will fuel the choice you make when you encounter any obstacles, even when you encounter promotion. And what will that be? You flow in grace, knowing that it is beyond you, and that's why you're going to enthrone your divinity. That's why we're talking about it, that is a dimension, is a divine boundless. So it is not contained, it's not limited. And ladies and gentlemen, if we look at this 10 points, and you can carefully, meditatively, intentionally, intuitively, inclusively, inspired by these 10 points, now it is no longer going to be business as usual of acquiring facts and knowledge. We got to become. Become means I am in it, and I am living in it, and have become the knowledge, and I'm utilizing the knowledge, and that will be the power, the strength to live authentically, powerfully, gracefully, consciously, intentionally, to make a significant difference in 2024. I love you all.